Hey, Judy Talbot here. Today I want to talk about Facebook scammers. So yesterday I was talking to somebody and they did have something I wanted to buy, and I was discussing it with them, and they're extremely pushy, and they were like, "Oh, and I will deliver it to you." They're 4.5 hours away. They didn't even try to negotiate meeting in between, and really pushy about you. You want to buy this? Want to buy this? Go go go. So finally, I started doing some looking. And first, they asked for me to purchase with this software I've never seen before. So I looked up the app, and the app said you should only send money using this app if you know the person you're sending it to and you trust them. This is the company that made the app saying this. It wasn't some review or something. This was the actual app. I think it's called Zelly or something like that. I've never used it before. And basically, it's not a purchasing software. It's you can't like make a purchase, and then if something happens, the person doesn't go through, you can make a complaint or something. It's just a direct send wire transfer. So I said, well, that seems suspicious, and that was the only one they're willing to use. So then I went and checked they had their own business Facebook page. I went and looked at it, and it had a phone number on it, and the phone number was from Illinois. That's the second red flag. First one was the Zelly, and only wanting to use Zelly. Second red flag was the number was they told me they're 4 hours away in upstate New York, and their phone number is sorry, people going back and forth. Uh, but their phone number was Illinois, which isn't massively unusual for people that have cell phones from other states and live in other states. Um, so I went, but when I Googled the phone number, it came up on a list of phone numbers that were being used by scammers saying they work for a police department in Illinois. Third red flag. So, fourth red flag was the guilt trip, sending pictures and things. See, this what you want to get. All you gotta do is give me the money. And then they kept going on about how I am so trustworthy and this and that, talking about themselves. I'm like, I don't know you. You're a stranger. Like it doesn't make any sense. So anyhow, they got aggressive, and I finally said no. I'm just not interested in buying it. But yeah, like this was painfully obvious that this was a scam to me. Now, some people might say this might be a series of coincidences that just maybe miscommunications, and I agree. Like it could be, but to me, yeah, they're saying they're oh, and the last red flag was they kept wanting to know my address, but weren't willing to give me their address, and saying I needed to pay up front and everything. I was like, well, maybe I should just drive to you. Give me your address. I'll drive to you and pay. I was just paying cash instead of wiring the money, and then everything will be taken care of. And they refused and refused, and it went on for a while. And finally, they gave me an address. So of course, I googled the address. I brought it up, looked at the house. It was a blue house, and then I said, okay. So I started walking down the street on Google Maps. I found a house that was red brick and white, not blue. Completely different house design. I mean, there's no way you could get them confused. And of course, the blue house that they lived in was surrounded by trees, which of course trees might be gone or not gone. But the other house had no trees. Like I don't think they had any trees at all. If they did, it was very few. Like it was barely even shaded, and the other one was massively shaded. So I made sure to find the exact opposite house. I took a snipping tool and took a picture off my screen, and I sent it to them and said, "Oh, you have such a beautiful home." And I sent them, I sent them a picture. I said, "Oh, you have such a beautiful house. Thank you. Now you see that I am honest. So now send me the money." And I'm like, "That's not a, that's that is not the house at the address you gave me." So that was the fifth one for me. So like I was saying before, could this be a series of events? Maybe miscommunications. Maybe they weren't a scam. Sure, I guess. But honestly and truthfully, I don't think so. But tell me what you think. You think it was a scam person, or was I just blowing it out of proportion? And so, if you're out and about today, say or do something kind for someone, kind words, and I'm going to start saying kind actions spreads joy. And I'm out. Bye.